You call yourself the chief eternal optimist. And so I would love to start there. I think it rolls really well into the theme of the show here. But, my first question is, have you always considered yourself an optimist?
No, I don't think so. I mean, look, I spent my whole life in news. So it took some effort to become the chief eternal optimist. That really sort of was born out of my role as CEO, of the foundation. And then I said, who wants to be called a CEO? I like chief eternal optimist better. But the truth is that really came about for me mostly after my third diagnosis with breast cancer, which on its face would not sound like reason for optimism, but at the end of the day led me down a path of discovery that I really hope helps other women, because I really do think that if we are to find happiness, I think that really comes down to making a decision to do just that. It's really something that everybody has to make a decision on their own. Are you going to choose happiness? Or are you going to, what did you say the other one was? Grim
life stinks. Yeah. Well, there's certainly two kinds of people in the world. So, but you said something really interesting, I think, which was, it was kind of born out of your third bout with cancer. So, how has your mental health, or how has your mental attitude changed throughout each kind of each diagnosis?
I think when I was first diagnosed, I had my very type A, Donna reaction, like I did with everything. Okay, I'm going to put this on my calendar. It's going to be an appointment. I'm going to power through it. No big deal. Get on with my life. And then less than 2 years later, I was diagnosed again, and that really got my attention. And I started to connect with other women and other people who were going through breast cancer. I started a blog, which became the basis of my first book. And it's when I first started to realize, boy, there are a whole lot of people that have it a whole lot worse off than you do. And so I was hearing from people that were having to make choices between food and medicine. And I thought, well, my goodness, at least I don't have to do that. But I would say that I had a very, very much fearful approach to cancer. I was constantly looking over my shoulder of what's going to happen next. When's the other shoe going to drop? That's really just no way to live. So it really wasn't. We started the foundation after that second diagnosis to help underserved women with breast cancer. So part of that whole, you don't get from point A to point Z overnight, right? Part of that whole transition was really feeling empathy for those people that were going through the same sort of situation I was, only they didn't have insurance, or they didn't have a good family structure, or they didn't have, the ability to have the same things and confidence that I did, that I could go to my treatments, And so I think it started there. And then after my third diagnosis, is when I really finally just said, you know what, Donna, you don't have any control over this. You keep trying to control it. You can't control it. And as we all know, the worst thing for a type A personality is to tell themselves they cannot control it. But it really was, I'll take you through that third diagnosis day. I mean, I was at Mayo Clinic. I was in for my 5-year all clear, we were just about to have the inaugural marathon. And the argument in my head was already going with my doctor. Okay, I don't need to be having all these screenings anymore. I don't need to be having all these blood tests. I've spent 5 years, I'm out of here, and they found the cancer had gone to my left lung, which I thought was just an incredibly, horribly sick joke, given the fact that I'm a marathon runner. But I had to have a piece of my lung removed and go through chemotherapy again. But that very day, I remember leaving Mayo just sort of in a haze with my husband in tow. And we got to the car, and neither one of us said anything for a few minutes. I didn't know what to say. I was just absolutely floored and devastated. But the first thing that came to my mind was, you're going to have to help me learn how to live, because I'm not going to spend whatever time I have left on this earth in fear. And it was that very day that I made the decision that I was going to start to change the way my brain worked. And that set me down a path of doing just that.